What are the most overpriced cars with the worst deals right now? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. New cars are incredibly expensive, and for a while now, a major part of the high prices has been caused by some dealers that are just price gouging consumers. And I'm going to show you which models are the toughest ones to get a great deal on, often really desirable and popular vehicles that are sometimes still selling for over MSRP. This data comes from both Consumer Reports and CarEdge, and even though it's from the US, the situation is very similar in other markets, including Canada. And towards the end of the video, I'll share some tips on how you can still get a good deal. But for now, let's get right into the list, starting with the first vehicle that's extremely tough to get a great deal on. And that vehicle is the Toyota Corolla. On average, dealers sell new Corollas for around $1,000 over MSRP. And this is largely because Toyota is still struggling with a supply problem. The Corolla is a tough car to find on dealer lots, and in many regions you still need to make a deposit and wait several weeks to even several months for a vehicle to arrive. This is especially true for the Corolla Hybrid, which is the toughest version to get. With car prices having increased so much over the past few years, the Corolla is one of the few ultra affordable cars left on the market that you can buy for under 30 grand. And because it's also known for being extremely reliable and affordable to own, that makes it an extremely hot commodity and a very high demand vehicle that's tough to get a deal on. And the next vehicle that's in the number 9 spot is also in a very similar situation, which is the Ford Maverick. On average, dealers sell new Mavericks for around $1,600 over MSRP. The Maverick has been incredibly popular since its launch in 2021. So much so that Ford has struggled to keep up with demand and has increased prices dramatically year after year. For example, when it launched a few years back, the starting MSRP was supposed to be around 20 grand. Now, just a few years later, that MSRP is now several $1,000s higher. Consumers clearly want affordable vehicles, including trucks, and being the most affordably priced truck on the market has made the Maverick a huge hit. Fortunately, they are not nearly as difficult to get as they were in the past. Dealers in most regions finally have inventory, so even though you can still find dealerships that are trying to upcharge, with a bit of careful shopping around, you can buy this vehicle for under MSRP. Now, moving on to the next vehicle in the number 8 spot, we have the Nissan Kicks. Nissan has redesigned the Kicks for 2025, and it has been quite a hit. On average, dealers are selling these for around $1,800 over MSRP. As mentioned, demand for ultra affordable new vehicles is incredibly high. And as far as small crossovers go, they do not come any more affordable than the Kicks. It's really the only crossover available that you can buy brand new for under 25 grand. It's a shame that some dealers are taking advantage of this, but I predict supply will improve quite a bit on these, and you will soon be able to find deals at or below MSRP. And for the next vehicles on the list, in the number 7 spot, we have a tie between the Toyota Highlander and the Toyota Sienna. On average, dealers are selling these models for around $2,000 over MSRP. Both the Highlander and Sienna are incredibly popular family-sized vehicles, praised for their incredible reliability, resale value, and hybrid fuel efficiency. But Toyota has seriously been struggling to produce enough vehicles for the market. The supply has been so limited for years now that in many regions, customers have been forced to make deposits and wait anywhere from several months to up to a few years to get their hands on one. And predictably, the result has been price gouging from some dealerships. Hopefully, Toyota finally sorts out this crazy situation in 2025 with these hard-to-get vehicles. But for now, let's move on to the next vehicle in the number 6 spot, which is the Kia K5. On average, dealers are selling these for around $2,200 over MSRP. This is largely due to the fact that the K5 is an ultra low production model and one that's difficult to find at dealers. Kia has even stopped selling it in Canada and will end production in the US market soon as well. This means anybody that really wants a K5 will have a hard time finding a good deal on one. Unfortunately, Kia dealers are notorious for price gouging and taking advantage of consumers, which is why the next vehicle coming in the number 5 spot on the list is the Kia Sportage Hybrid. When it comes to the Sportage or Sportage Hybrid, dealers are selling these for around $2,500 over MSRP. Again, this is due to limited supply, particularly for the hybrid model, which dealers typically do not have in stock on their lots and require an order with a deposit. This has been the case for this model for a few years now, and like Toyota, Kia needs to seriously get their act together and supply more vehicles to the market to satisfy demand. Consumers really want affordable, efficient vehicles like this, but unfortunately there are still way too many dealerships taking advantage of consumers and upcharging, which makes it extremely difficult to find a really good deal. Now, moving on to the next vehicle in the number 4 spot, we have the Toyota Camry. On average, dealers are selling Camrys for around $2,600 over MSRP. A sad situation because the Camry is a phenomenal vehicle, incredibly well designed, reliable, well priced, and has hybrid fuel efficiency. Unfortunately, demand is very strong, and in many regions, the waiting period for a Camry can be anywhere from a few months to several months long. So it's not uncommon to find dealers trying to take advantage and sell these for a premium. And now getting into the top 3 most overpriced vehicles. In the number 3 spot, we have another Kia, this time the Kia Sorento Hybrid. On average, dealers are selling these for around $2,800 over MSRP. As mentioned, supplying enough hybrids to the market has been a major challenge for Kia for ages now, and their hybrid SUVs are the most difficult ones to get, with waiting periods up to several months long in certain regions. Until that changes, expect it to be very challenging to get a fair price on one of these vehicles. And now moving on to the number 2 spot, we have another Toyota, this time the Toyota 4Runner. On average, dealers are selling 4Runners for around $3,000 over MSRP. This one is a unique situation because Toyota ended production of the incredibly popular 5th generation 4Runner in early 2024. But because production of the all-new 6th generation model was delayed until early 2025, this created a drought in the market for 4Runners. Many buyers who had been looking for a leftover 2024 model 4Runner in the second half of 2024 had a very challenging time finding one, and dealers who still had one were often charging a ridiculous markup on top of the MSRP. Unfortunately, it is still a very tough market for consumers looking to find a really good deal on a lot of Toyota models. And no other models are a better example of that than the vehicles in the number 1 spot, which again we have a tie between the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid and the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. On average, dealers are selling these 2 models for around $3,800 over MSRP. It's a ridiculous situation, but unfortunately, incredibly strong demand for these 2 models combined with limited supply has created this overinflated pricing situation in the market. And that has been the case for years now. Ever since these 2 models were introduced, the order backlog and waiting periods to get one were anywhere from a few months to over a year, depending on location. And Toyota has done nothing to solve the problem. They are both phenomenal vehicles to buy if you want an SUV, but until Toyota solves the supply problem they have, getting a good deal on one will be a major challenge. Now, even though the vehicles on this list tend to be very overpriced, the good news is that the market is changing in 2025. vehicle supply at dealerships continues to get better and better, we're starting to see a return of manufacturer incentives, rebates, low interest rates, and it's becoming easier and easier to negotiate a better deal with the dealership. The two major exceptions to this really are Kia and Toyota, which are the two remaining brands that are still struggling with a supply problem and are the two brands that are the hardest ones to get a good deal on. Now, even when it comes to high demand, low supply vehicles such as the ones on this list, there are still some things that you can do to make sure that you're getting the best possible deal. I'll put a link up in the corner to a video I made on how to negotiate the best deal with the dealership. And if you live in Ontario, you might want to consider using my service that I offer through the Automobile Consumer Coalition, which will do all the negotiating for you and connect you with a local dealership in the Greater Toronto area that's going to give you the best possible price. Or if you live in another location and just want to get professional car buying advice or an expert to look over your deal and give you some negotiating tips, you can sign up for that service on our website as well. In any case, if you got value out of this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also click on the links up in the corner to check out my other videos. You can follow me on Instagram, and as mentioned, if you want to get the best possible deal or get some expert advice, make sure to check out the website carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.